coffee cups now?
Yeah, we got coffee cups. So where have you been, bro? I mean, you can't really see the writing on this one, but it's
All right.
football never ends. You see that, folks? Furry's back. If you like the
Uh,
merchandise, we got hoodies, we got t-shirts, we
Mm.
got mugs. You can't really see it here, but we also have the Jumpman mugs as well. So cop that when you see it. So we back again, folks, on the second down. Again, we got Tim, Fog, May, Dula, Josh. You guys know what to do. Let's get it done.
Lego.
Okay, we're gonna talk about what Ezekiel Elliott did this past couple of days at a St. Patty parade. Basically, everybody pretty much saw it. He put his hands and pulled down the shirt of a young lady for everybody to see her breasts. Okay. I saw the whole video, and here's my thing. I'm not backing him up on this, but I will say that okay, it's more of a immaturity thing. Um, Especially when you had an off season, when you had where you was watched going into a tobacco store. Then now you're still being investigated, even though from um whatever the investigation was about with the domestic violence thing, he was still found innocent, but the NFL is still investigating him. He has to understand and remember you're being watched. Him and this young lady, they've been hanging out. They got pictures of them going to Miami, but still in norm. I don't care if that's your friend. I don't care if that's your girlfriend or whatever. You got to understand, whatever you do, you're gonna be watched. You're gonna be judged, and this is part about being in the NFL. So he has to be mindful of that. And I think the Dallas Cowboys need to step in and not only just talk to him, but at the same time, if they want to find him, it's not. I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah, being St. Patrick's Day, just looking at the picture, you could tell, I'm sure the two ladies were intoxicated. So, benefit of the doubt, I'm sure Ezekiel was pouring some alcohol down his throat as well. And we all know, we've all been to the 5 hour for driving. The first thing that alcohol takes away is your judgment, ladies and gentlemen. And that's all it really took. You're drunk, you're just in the moment, you don't think about it, and you're just like, hey, you're back in your college, high school party days. But obviously, it's just going to be another hammer. He's going to get so many lectures from the front office in Dallas. He knows it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's just going to be another hammer in his mind. Listen, even if it's for 1.5 seconds, somebody is watching you. Somebody's snapping you. Somebody's recording you. Somebody's Instagramming you, periscoping you. They're doing something. You need to be aware of what you're doing at all times. And it looks worse right now because of the last year's scandal that he was going through and, the investigation he was going through. That's why it's worse than it actually could be right now. So it's just another, it's almost like twofold over what, a simple assault that he did. Obviously it's not as bad or graphic as like rape or anything. He didn't, do anything terrible, but at the same time, it's simple assault. You need to be aware of what you're doing. You can't do that. And thank God this lady is saying it was consensual, because if she got a good lawyer, you know how America works. She'd be getting some money and he would be getting a lot worse punishment.
Right.
Oh, man. All right. Let me center myself here, okay? Because there's so much you can say about this, and let me draw a parallel. Let me do that. I think so far, all of these things that have happened with Ezekiel Elliott, they haven't been major things, right? They've just kind of been these small mitigating things where, maybe you do or don't get in trouble with it. But I remember a player who was drafted very high, I want to say in 2005, who had a bunch of smaller incidents pile up, and then a big one happened. I'm talking about Pac-Man Jones, if you don't know where I'm going. Now, I'm not saying Ezekiel Elliott is on the same path as Pac-Man Jones. I don't think he is, right? But it's one thing to be immature. It's another for your immaturity to be, criminal. Or this is one of those incidences where you're just like, bro, you're kind of sort of depending on how the other person wants to play this, you're committing a crime. And it's a crime that the NFL and all these other sports leagues have exhibited a no tolerance type deal with. Yeah, he's still on the hook for this whole incident. I think that will go away eventually. It looks like this will, kind of be water under the bridge, but you just kind of ask yourself, how many times can he do this before that hammer? Before whether it be someone else or whether it be Roger Goodell say, listen, we hear about you way too much in the news for not so good things. So here's a suspension. He's done that before, right? I'm sure he'll continue to do it. I think also something to keep in mind is if you followed Ezekiel Elliott in college, you didn't hear much about him, right? All you really heard was him on the field. I think the most you heard from him is when they lost to Michigan State, and I'll draw another parallel. A guy, Josh, you like this guy, Odell Beckham Jr. You heard nothing about Odell Beckham Jr. in college because, frankly, Urban Meyer, Les Miles, they have those guys on the leash. They're college kids. Now they're adults that, again, let's go back to this. This is my job now, right? Let's go back to this. I have millions of dollars now. Ezekiel Elliott didn't have millions of dollars because he is Ezekiel Elliott, because he plays for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go back to that brand. Jones is like really pulling his hair out like, all right, look, you can be a kid all you want. Just don't bring that here. It's bad enough the Cowboys nation has this rap of, oh, we hate the Cowboys. You don't want to turn around and be like, oh, your star running back likes to sexually assault women. That's just not what you want. The whole Des Bryant thing. The last thing you want is, oh, you have a guy who beats his mom. You don't want that. So I think someone needs to really have a talk with this guy. Like, listen, there are about 10 other players out there who have suffered a lot because of their immaturity and how their immaturity became criminal over time.
Yeah, Fogman, you have something to say on this?
Listen, Dolo took all the words out of my mouth, basically. This guy is, I want to say he's being a kid, but Dolo insinuated, you didn't hear nothing from him in college. But it's not like he was being a kid in college because he was on a leash. You can't do this. You have to be in at this time. There was a specific schedule. Now he's an adult that's not on a schedule, that has millions of dollars at his disposal, and suddenly he's famous. And he's going to be, under the microscope through the media, but he's not thinking like that. He's still thinking like a 21-year-old kid, basically. Like, oh my God, this is great. I can do whatever I want. I can make up for all the fun that I might have missed, or that I, my friends were having while they were in college, and not realizing how bad this could possibly be. Not to mention the fact that is this who his character is? Because you're not seeing who all you saw was a person who was kind of in a controlled environment. Now he's been released, and as he's getting released, is this who this person's character is, as opposed to what we thought it was? So yeah, there has to be some intervention there with him, and it goes back to what Chris Carter was always saying, and how he would introduce some of the rookie camps, speaking to these guys. I think the NFL needs to take more of a stance on that and trying to educate these kids even more. So even not having a chaperone for them, but maybe a mentor that can guide them in the right direction, not only financially, but personally, on how to deal with what they're going to experience now in the NFL with their newfound money and fame.
You know what? To add on to that, Fox, that's why I love the fact how Jerry Jones always had the former players around the facility, because it's like Michael Irvin and Des Bryant, Charles Haley, and some of the defensive players. The big cat Leon Lett, same thing. Emmitt Smith, and when you those guys have won, and you was all kids when they won. They come back to give back the leadership, the mentor talk, and I'm pretty sure Ezekiel Elliott will be talked to, and will be told. But here's the thing: this is the NFL job, and your job can be taken away from you that fast, and it's a wrap. Somebody will replace you, so he's gonna have to understand that. Hopefully, his parents will get involved, and understand this too. I've always said this growing up. Another rest in peace. You treat a lady the way you want your mother to be treated. I've always said that. So understand this. It could be that lady, that girl could have somebody, a father, a brother, a male look at her, and she's watching a star running back pull down her shirt and expressing her breast. If she wants to do that, let her do it on her own. You just stand there. You just be there. But don't volunteer yourself. Even if she tells you to do it, don't do it, because what's going to happen is you get yourself caught out there. And we have seen, no disrespect to females, but we have seen women who cry wolf. As a matter of fact, the last one who cried wolf is under investigation with him. So he has to understand that.
And if I could also add to this, that luckily she didn't want to press charges, but you have to look at it in this way, even though that you may think of, her of a certain way of whatnot, in the public's eye, you have to understand, when people treat women like this and we pass it off as, oh, he's just a kid having fun, it's almost giving a pass at sexual harassment. Because right there, when that happened, we didn't even know that that's her friend. She's just a girl on a float that's probably a groupie. She probably doesn't even know him. We don't even know the better at that point. So to say that it's not a big deal, he's being a kid, you have to be careful when you make that statement.
Sean, if you watch the whole video, he pulled it down initially, and she did nothing. It was cool. The problem was, he took it a step further and tried doing it again. And that's when it became like, one time, okay, we cool. Second time, that's a problem. And that's what everybody focused on.
And she's not a stranger either.
Here's the thing, though. There's a lot of nuance with that, because even though you say that it seemed like she was cool with it, say that she was just a girl that just want to be close to an athlete, and she doesn't want to make a scene. First time, okay, it didn't really expose. Okay, hopefully that's the last time. I'm not going to make a big deal about it. I'm going to pretend everything was cool. And then he went for it again. It could be anything that happened at that moment. So to automatically assume she was cool with it is also dangerous. We really don't know what's going. Let me finish. We really don't know what's going. But the point I'm making is not so much about her or what's going through her head or who's not. Is the people watching that. And we have to understand that, agree with me or not, but there are a culture that is not favored to female, or double standards to females. And there's this culture that, yes means yes and no means yes. And when you do something like that and she plays it off, you don't know why she plays it off, but it kind of hurts the perspective that we're trying to teach our young boys to treat women like you treat your mother. But there's still this culture, there's still this rape culture, there's still this misogyny culture, there's still this culture where you can just go grab a woman's ass even if she asks you or not. And when this happened and we played off as, oh, he's just being a kid, you kind of facilitating that culture if you let it. Mm-hmm. You have to say, you know what? You can't just grab a woman's breasts just like that, especially when you're an athlete. She could probably be cool with it, but the perspective does not help the culture. You can't just do that. You have to think.
Well, no, I agree with you, Sean, because like you said, the perception becomes a reality. And even though that perception to some people is their reality, it's not what the reality of life truly is. And it's not okay to do exactly what Ezekiel did. And them not knowing the context of it, and the fact that these two people were actually friends and had been around each other before, they're assuming, oh, hey, it's okay. This is what you do. So no, I'm all for him being punished and having somebody again intervene. The Cowboys should intervene, like Tim said. He should be punished. there should be something held, even though it could have been in jest because they know each other. It doesn't make it right because you are under the microscope. You are in that spotlight. You chose to play this game, and you got to take the good along with the bad. And unfortunately, sometimes the bad is the fact that you are now a celebrity, and people are going to be watching you, and you have to conduct yourself like you are in that same controlled environment you were when you were growing up. You were throughout high school, throughout college. You have to have that same mentality that you are being controlled. It's just not a direct control. It's indirect control through social media.
Right. All right.
Yeah,
we're gonna. No, everybody's good. Yep. So let's move on. Let's move on. Talk about the Patriots.
No.
All right. I mean, it's.
Dula has spoken. We're moving on.
No.
Listen. I understand. I don't know how they made these moves. You know, I wish David Stern. Is it David Stern, the commissioner? What's the commissioner? NBA commissioner's name again? I'm sorry. But
you should know by now. He has your
Adam
players
Silver.
on speed dial.
Yeah. Adam Silver should be coming in here and he should have vetoed these trades. But the Patriots are the most dangerous team after they acquire Brandin Cooks.
What you thinking, Timmy?
You know what? I was gonna.
Yes.
You know what? And my initial thought was yes because with Brandin Cooks, Coney
It should
Neely,
still be yes.
and Dwayne Allen. I don't want to say yes, but you know, I'm looking at your guys' faces right now and saying
You have to
you
say
guys
yes.
You don't
There's
say
no other
yes.
option.
All right, I'm gonna say yes because I feel the vibe. I'm gonna say yes. Listen. They got that division on lock. The only team I see them playing the Patriots is the Miami Dolphins, especially if they sign Dontari Poe, and you have Poe and Sue and that defense getting better. And that's to me, the Patriots got the division on lock. And then another thing,
Is there anyone in the AFC? Anyone in the AFC that you feel could
they got the whole AFC unlocked. There's nobody gonna compete with the Patriots. They're gonna have home field advantage.
I think the Raiders can give them a run for their money.
The Raiders? Nah. Again, the Raiders don't believe in defense. They don't believe in defense. They believe in wide receivers. They get 5 wide. They go 5 wide on the goal line. They don't believe in running backs. They just believe in throwing the ball 24/7. No defense. They didn't prove themselves. They got a nice receiving core. Cordell Patterson is going to be their wide receiver, their punt returner, and a running back. Basically, they don't believe in none of that stuff. And until I see that addressed, I think they're going to run the whole thing. I don't see anybody competing with the Patriots with that type of team.
I mean, it really is hard to pick anyone over them at this current point in time right now, March 15, 2017, because if you look at the top offenses or arguably who's going to be a top offense going in 2017, we could put I'll put Dula's Detroit out there. Good set of receivers with Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, Anquan Bolden. Then you got Eric Ebron, but at the same time, they still need to answer that running back position. You can bring up Green Bay, Nelson, Adams, and Cobb, and Montgomery as well. And then they just acquired Martellus Bennett. But at the same time, they just lost Lang, and they're going to have some O-line issues as well, just like they were struggling a little bit last year with. You could bring up Denver, but at the same time, they're going to have that O-line question mark. And again, with the Giants, you could bring up the trio, and they're probably going to try to go for a tight end in this year's draft, most likely a running back as well. Again, O-line, are they going to bank on Flowers and improving still in his third year at left tackle? We have yet to see, but we know one thing to be damn true, other than life, death, and taxes. That's Bill Belichick having a winning season and one of the best offenses in the league. As long as he's alive and Tom Brady's still playing, I'm not taking away the crown from him right now. There's no other team, as I'm scrolling through the wide receiver depth of every team right now. You could argue somewhat of Oakland a little bit, but at this point in time, no. Nobody's touching Patriots right now.
I think it's a matter of offensively with adding Cooks. I think it's just a matter of the team overall. I'm sorry. I think the Raiders, unless they address that defense, like Tim said, I think the Raiders are due to fall back this year. I think they might regress. And if they do, and they were a team that I would say, okay, they could compete. Unless Houston gets Romo, and Romo's actually capable of staying healthy, I don't see anybody competing with them. Pittsburgh still doesn't have the defense. Kansas City has Andy Reid, and we know what Andy Reid does. He gets you to the playoffs, but he can't get you out of them. Well, he could get you out of them, but the way you don't want to get out. And there's really no other team in the AFC that's can compete with them. I haven't looked at the schedule yet, but at this point, I don't really give a damn what any team does right now in the offseason. I don't think it's going to stop New England from having a 14-2 or 13-3 season this year.
Listen, let's be careful, right? Because the Patriots at one point signed Randy Moss. Well, they traded for Randy Moss. They traded for Wes Welker. And they went 16-0, and then, well, we know what happened after that. They didn't seal the deal, but
Dilla, you just said it. They did last time they did anything similar to this. They went 16-0.
Yeah. So if you're asking me, are the Patriots gonna win at least 12 games? My answer is yes. Or if you're asking me, will they win 14? I'd say the probability's high. To that end, I'm still a little puzzled by the trade. I'm still a little puzzled as to why Brandin Cooks and why that.
With New Orleans, they have two good receivers now. They still have Michael Thomas and Willie Snead, and now they have two draft picks in the first round where they can build up their awful defense. So it helps both teams, but at the same time, I get where you're coming from.
And to that end, I know the Patriots like trading down with those like late first round picks. And this is the first time in a while I've seen them swap a high pick for a player. Granted, if you look at the wide receiver class this year and say to yourself, Brandin Cooks is probably better than most of them, certainly better than what you're going to get at 32. So make the move. But what's interesting about Bill Belichick as a coach is that he's always transforming, right? He went from a guy who played a lot of 3-4 to kind of this hybrid to now a 4-3 defense. He went from running the ball to having a too tight set. He tried to do it with Hernandez and Gronkowski, did it with Bennett and I just walk away from this and say to myself, all right, they have Amendola, they have Julian Edelman, they have Chris Hogan, they have receivers. Is this a team that's going to go 4 wide? Is this a team that is going to get away from the double tight stuff and have more receivers on the field? Looking at their running backs, I don't think they're signing Blunt, are they?
No.
But
is this another transformation for them?
No, they just signed Rex Burkhead today, along with they got Dante Hightower back as well for 4 years. So
yeah, so my question with that is on offense, is this a sign of a transformation?
Well, Julian Edelman is 30 years old. He is 30 years old right now.
I don't think it's a sign of transformation. I think it's a matter of you don't know. Chris Hogan had a breakout year, but do we really know what he is? Amendola, we know what he is, and he's not a Brandin Cooks. So you could still run a double tight, but then you have someone like Cooks that could truly stretch the field.
Yeah,
I mean that's. And let's say you got your Cooks on one side, you're running a double tight, and you got Deion Lewis in the backfield.
See, I got one sleeper team. I have one AFC sleeper team to possibly challenge the Patriots, and on paper they look good. And that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. The only problem is Blake Ball is getting done.
That's your sleeper team.
Jaguars.
Guess what? They're not waking up this year.
Well, no, the only reason I say sleeper team because here's the thing: defense on paper they're loaded, on offense they loaded, or they need a running game in that quarterback. If it's some, listen, here's the thing. If Tony Romo was the Jacksonville Jaguars, I will say Jacksonville is the second best team in the AFC. I will say that because Jacksonville. Listen, look what they got.
Tim, I'm going to do my impression of you. Jesus Christ!
What? Hey, listen,
come on, Tim. Are you serious? You're the second Cowboy fan that said this to me. My head is about to spin.
Really?
Yo, I'm about to do the exorcist here.
Yo, it's the truth, though. Fog, here's the thing.
It is not the truth. What? Dula, correct me, Dula, Josh. They won 4 games last year.
No. I think they won 4 and 12.
But why? But why though?
Oh, okay.
Why? But why though?
So they regress. They regress. What? Tell me what team makes a turnaround?
Well,
from 4 and 12 to 12 and 4. And don't give me Dallas because Dallas was a playoff team the year before that disaster happened. So don't give me a team that made it the playoffs the year before, then had injury issues. Give me a truly shitty team that's been consistently shitty that suddenly flipped the switch.
Detroit.
Wait, when?
Detroit. 2015. They had a bad record. Turn it around. Look at it there. Detroit. I named the team.
It was a 3-game difference.
No.
You're talking about a team possibly to be the second best team in the AFC. You're talking an 8-game swing. Are you out of your mind?
But hold up. But see, Fogg, here's the thing, Fogg. My thing is this. The Jacksonville Jaguars are not coming in with the same type of attitude. First of all, you want to have
what they're coming in with.
Wait a minute, Fogg. Wait a minute, Fogg. Jacksonville right now.
You think they're going to get fired up for Tom Coughlin? You think the fireworks are going to be?
What? Listen. It's a change. It's a very
they don't even want the current quarterback in Jacksonville right now.
Well,
they're going to turn it into a double-digit playoff.
But hold on. But I did say on paper, if Blake Bortles was to do the job right, Jacksonville is the only
team that
I see on both sides. It isn't it, but I'm saying in Romo, I'm just saying fantasy-wise.
That's the biggest if you could have about a team. If my franchise quarterback plays above mediocrity, then we'll have a lot of wins.
But John, the whole thing is this: we just named the Patriots staff. We just came out and said Brandin Cooks. Bella just named the 3-4, the 4-3, the guys he got that fit the system. On paper, if you look at them, they're great. Let's go to the other AFC team. All the other AFC teams are one-sided. They're really one-sided, and that's the issue. Jacksonville Jaguars are great on both sides of the ball, which is a good veteran quarterback.
But they're very young, Tim. This is a young core of players that need some guidance. It's not going to turn around in one shot, man.
Okay, no. Here's the thing.
Tim, on the live chat, you're not getting everybody disagree with you, Tim. Wendy and Haitian.
Well, listen. Right, here's the thing. Everybody except Wendy. I don't care if you disagree with me. When I'm the one who said Detroit Lions are making the playoffs, everybody laughed and says you're bugging out. And I still didn't get my apology yet. When I woken up, where's my apology at, Della? You still haven't apologized for that. Here's the thing. It's not over yet. It's still the offseason. Let's see what Jacksonville does. All I'm saying is this. On paper, Jacksonville looks great. The only problem is they have the same issue that the Texans have and Denver got. No quarterback. Who is Tom Brady?
No. They don't have the same issue. Denver and Houston have established themselves already. Jacksonville doesn't even have an identity yet. You started your St. Patrick's drinking early.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Here's the thing. Did we all hear this rumor about Denver where they came out and said that if Brock Osweiler was to get released by the Cleveland Browns, that the Denver Broncos will automatically pick him up? If you pick up Brock Osweiler, there's a problem with Seaman, and there's a problem with Paxton Lynch. If you don't trust Paxton Lynch, the first round guy you drafted, and you don't trust Seaman, who is a horrible quarterback, then guess what? That means you have an issue. The Houston Texans, they get a news. Tony Romo's really, oh my God. Hold up. Let me get the foul. Look,
Tim, you're cracking up. You scream.
Hello.
Mike, you're screaming into your mic.
Hello, Cleveland Browns. We're gonna ship you Brock Osweiler in our second round pick, 8 seconds. We're gonna get signed because we're gonna sign Tony Romo tomorrow. Are you shitting me? They don't have a problem. They have a ton of problems. If you go into the season with Tom Savage, with Brandon Weeden, are you kidding me? We go in there with Seaman again with his shoulder.
Same.
Patrick Lynch. You want to play 2 games? Are you kidding me? Here's the thing, Elway and Bob McNair, y'all are stupid. The most ignorant guys ever know. Elway has never done anything but pick up and sign players. He's never maneuvered in the draft or made trades to get any better. And Bob McNair, look at you. You still where you at. You still want to hold out to Jerry Jones' jock. Jerry Jones is the man in Texas, and you will give up a draft pick for Tony Romo. Tony Romo is the only quarterback in the AFC that can maybe contend with Tom Brady. There's nobody else there. Nobody else over there. Let's put it on. I mean, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. I said my piece.
Finish.
I think he's good.
Perception is reality. Tim believes he's right. The rest of the world knows otherwise.
Hold on, listen.
Okay.
I know you got more before we move on to the last down to.
No, don't ask him if he's got more. Of course he's got more.
I got plenty of more.
Oh man,
She's gone.
He's talking about Tony Brokemo and the Dallas Cowgirls here.
Hey, listen. Here's the thing. Tony, he goes, listen. Here's the thing. We did wrong. He
just broke his pinky from you talking.
We did poorly around Romo. We did poorly. Bad.
Romo tore some cartilage in his ear. He heard you.
He goes to Denver or he goes to the Texans. With that defense, he's going to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, but you were saying Jacksonville. I'm not talking
You're talking. Here's my thing. If Blake Bortles wakes up,
Jacksonville.
I think Jacksonville could be that team.
Wrap it up.
Jacksonville, they're known for alligator farms, not their football team.
Listen, I use them on Madden. They are a good team.
On that note, folks, we'll be right back with the last. Crazy.
Sorry, Madden, boy.
Tim, you're crazy.